Have you ever just casually played a game only to encounter like the most vile, like terrible person known to Earth, and then you just wanted to kick them from the game, right? You just wanted to have a tool, perhaps, maybe, which, when you press the tool, you kick the player, right? Maybe you wanted to do that. So I know this video is basically like, okay, we'll make a tool which, kicks someone, but I will make three tools in this tutorial. The first tool will kick the player who has the tool, right? The second tool will just kick a random player. And the third tool will kick the last player whose name you typed in the chat. So, similar to like Death Note or whatever. So, what we should start off with is create the tools, right? So, we make a tool, and then inside, I'll just put a part, and then I'll name this part handle. So what this is doing is we're saying, okay, this is the hand. And by the way, you have to name this handle. If you don't name this handle, then the tool will not work, right? So you have to add in a part and name it handle. And then we could just change the color to like red. I don't know. So this tool, when we equip, so it's going to be in like the player inventory. Let me show you, right? So then when we equip this tool, like so, yeah, see the player is now holding the part, which is pretty nice. And also make sure that the handle isn't anchored, so not anchored. And probably can collide, set it to off as well. Yeah, okay, can collide is off, and anchored is off. And then just click on this tool, and then click Control and D, or Command and D on Mac, until you have three tools. And name this Tool 2 and Tool 3. Amazing. So, okay, this tool will be the one that kicks you, the player. And this is what we're going to start with. So inside of the tool, create a local script. And then the way you know like when a tool has been activated, and what I mean by activated is like the player is holding the tool and like clicks the mouse or like taps the screen on their iPad or whatever. I don't know. A lot of iPad kids these days, so what you would do is you would say tool dot activated. And the way we can get the tool is we just do script, script dot parent, because script is inside of the tool, making the tool a parent of the script. So script dot parent, which is the tool, dot activated, and then we connect it to a new function. So what we're saying is, okay, when this tool is activated, just run this function, and then we haven't actually put any code, so nothing's gonna happen. So as an example, we could just print out tool activated, right? And then when I run the game again, what we should see, okay, we have all the three tools. So only tool 1 has the script. So if I have tool 1 and if I click, there we go, it says tool activated. If I hold out tool 2, for example, then yeah, I'm clicking, nothing's happening. It's staying at 5. So we have the script, which I'll rename to, you don't have to do this, I'll just rename this to tool script, like this. So what we want to do is we want to kick the player. But the issue is, we can't really do that locally, right? Only the server can kick the player. So we have to kick the player on a server script. So we have to create, in server script service, a new script, which I'll call tool script as well. Why not? And so what we need to do is we need to, when this tool is firing, we need to tell the like the tool script, server side, that hey, listen, the player has clicked this tool, right? So like do something on the server. And the way you communicate, from a local script to a server script is by using a remote event. So I'll make a remote event and I'll just call it tool event, like this. Why not? And the way you call remote events is very simple. So, from the local script, when the tool is activated, we will just send out game dot, because it's inside replicated storage. So we'll do game dot replicated storage. We'll just wait for child, make sure it's loaded in tool event, and then we will do fire server. So this will fire to all server scripts who are waiting for something from the tool event. And the way we have a server, and the way like we have a server script wait for a remote event ping, because like this is sending out a ping. We're sending out a ping, right? And the way we get that ping is we do again game.replicated storage, wait for child, tool event, dot on server event, and then we connect that to a function, and it gives us the player who called it, right? So like it's gonna be us, right? So you can name this whatever you want, right? It's a variable. I'll just name mine PLR, just easier. So again, what this is doing is, we're activating the tool. It's firing to the server, whenever we fire the tool, and then it gives them like the player who fired the tool. And then all we do from here is just player colon kick, and then we can give like a special message, kicked by your own tool, Lamau. There we go. And I think this should be good. Yes, so we're firing the event. It's getting the event. It's kicking the player. So let's see what happens. Let's ensure this works. So, okay. If I have tool 2 equipped, nothing happens. Tool 3, I'm clicking, nothing happens. Tool 1, if I click, you were kicked from this experience, kicked by your own tool, Lamau. Error code 267. Okay. So, okay, this script, this tool is fully working. So that's good. So let's go on to tool 2, which will randomly kick a player. Now, of course, because I'm the only player, it's going to kick me, all the time. But like this code will make sure that like if your game has multiple players, it will just kick a random player. So, let's also create a local script inside of here. And, let's just do a local... or no, wait, not local. What am I doing? Oh no, wait, look, I'm local tool. What did I do here? Script.parent, right? Script.parents.activated. So again, script.parent. We connect that to a function, like so. Okay, so when tool number 2 is activated, what do we want to do, right? Well, probably what we want to do is we want to fire to the server again, right? Then we want to determine whether like or like we want to see like which players are playing right now. Then we want to just select a random player from that player list and then kick that random player. But we want to do that on the server. So all we need to do right now is just send a remote event. But the issue is this tool is already sending a remote event. So if I use the same remote event, it's going to kick us again. And we don't want that, right? We want it to kick a random player. So what we could do is just make a new remote event, and I'll just call this tool 2 event. And then we can just make a new one for later titled tool 3 event, like this, right? And then I'll name this script. So we have this script is named tool script, and I'll name this tool 2 script. Awesome. And so yeah, we'll do game.replicated storage, wait for child, tool 2 event, because this is tool 2, right? And it will fire server. So okay, and now we'll just wait for game replicated storage, wait for child, tool 2 event, and then again we connect it, or no, on server event, yeah, connect it to a function, which gives us the player. So this is for tool number 1. This is for tool number 2. So what we need to do is we need to first of all, get the list of all players, right? Then we have to select like a random like player in that list using, math.random. And then once we have that player, then we just kick them, right? So the way we do this is I'll make a new variable called local player table, and we'll make it equal to game.players get players. So what get players does is it gives us a table of all the players. And in case you don't know what table is like, I don't know, like it's this, right? So a table is like, it has a bunch of different values, right? It's separated by commas. So I could have, a number, then I could have a string, then I could have a Boolean, then I could have a nil. So a table is literally just like a container which holds different values. And what you can actually do with tables is, let's say I wanted to access the first like item of a table. I would just do tab and then, or like the name of the table. And then in square brackets, I put in the number. And so Roblox always begins with 1, right? So this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, and this would be 4. I'm just saying because like a lot of other programming languages begin at 0, but Roblox does not begin at 0. Roblox begins at 1, right? So again, 1 is this, 2, 3, 4. Just, this like just standard math, standard counting, right? I don't know why the other programming languages had to start at 0. Just makes stuff more confusing. So this is basically what get players does. It creates a table with like all the players inside who are playing the game. And so what we want to do is we want to get a random number, which is like either one, it's either the maximum number of players who are in the server right now, or anything in between. So how do we know how many players there are in the server? Well, we have the table of all of the players right now. And then what we could do is we could make a local player count equals, and then we just do a hashtag player table. So putting a hashtag before a table simply means like, okay, how many values are in this table? So player count will equal to a number, which is equal to how many values are in the table, as in how many players are playing the game right now. So this is the player table. These are all the players. And then this is the amount of players. So what we want to do is we want to get a random number, which is either one, it's either this player count or anything in between. So I'll just do local random num equals math.random. And then it asks for the minimum number and like the maximum number, right? So minimum, of course, being 1, because it's like the tables start at 1 to player count. Because like we can't go above player count because that's how much players are in the game, right? So like if there's 8 players in the game, this table will have 8 like values. So if I try to access table 9, I won't be able to because there's only 8 values. So I'm going to pick a random number from 1 to player count. So okay, I have the random number and I have the player table. So what I do is I just say, okay, then I'll just, player table, and then I'll do square brackets, random num, like this, kick. And then I'll give it a message, kicked by luck. Awesome. So I'm not too sure if this will work, I'll be honest, but let's see. Tool 2 selected, press. Amazing, kicked by luck. Now again, of course, I'm gonna be kicked all the time because I'm the only player in the server, right? But if there were like 2 or 3 players, then each of them would randomly get kicked, whenever someone uses this tool. So that's very nice. Okay, we have this tool and this tool done already. So, I'll close this tool script and this tool script. So all we're left with is this. And then I'll just quickly make game.replicated storage, wait for child, tool 3 event, or no, tool 3 event, there we go. On server event, connect function, player. So, just getting ready. So what I will do, for tool 3 is I will literally just do the same thing. I'll make it a script. When when the tool is activated, then we will fire the thing. So just script.parent, activated, connect function, game.replicated storage, wait for child, tool 3 event, like so, fire server. And then I will name this script tool 3 script. So this one will be a bit more challenging. What we want to do is we want to make it so that whenever the player chats, we want to save that chat, right? And then if the player chats like a player name, and then we press the tool, what do we need this code to do is, first of all, we needed to know what the player has chatted beforehand, right? We need to check whether that message whether that's an actual name of a player who's playing our game right now, and then we need to kick them, right? So I think the very first thing we need to do is actually detect the last message sent by every single player. And we can do this by creating a new script, which we don't have to create a new script. You could just do this in the tool script, but I just like to keep stuff organized. And we can call this script player chat script. So what I'm thinking of doing is whenever a player makes a chat, we will give the player an attribute. So attributes are like these things. It's like you know how scripts have variables. Attributes are basically variables, but for items in the game. So players have attributes as well, right? So for example, if I just play the game right now, let me show you. And if I click on players, so yeah, you see this is me, and I have an attribute. So what I'm thinking is what I'll do is I'll make a script, and whenever the player chats something, I'll just create a new attribute here called last chat. And then I'll just set the attribute equal to whatever the player chatted. And so what I'll do is I'll do game dot players dot player added connect function player. So now we will basically have access to every single player who's playing the game. So I have the player, so I'll do player dot chatted, like so, connect function, and then we get the message which they chatted, right? So what this is doing is like whenever any single player chats, right? We know like the player who chatted and their message. So all I need to do is just give this player an attribute which is equal to this message. And the way you make an attribute is you just do player set attribute, like so. And then set attribute, by the way, it like if this attribute with the like, so I'll name mine last chat, right? And then the value is gonna be the message, like so. So like what set attribute does, if there's already a last chat attribute like in the player, it'll just change the value. If it doesn't find an because right now our players don't have any attributes, then this will just create a new attribute. So like don't worry, it's not going to give you any errors. This will either change the value of an existing attribute named last chat, or it will create a new attribute named last chat. So okay, so let's test this, right? So I'm gonna open up player. I'll click on here. As you can see right now, we have no attributes. And then if I chat something, hello, and I hit enter, there we go. The script works. So right now the player has an attribute called the last chat, and the value is hello. And then if I do goodbye, or no, goodbye, see the value changes. Now it's goodbye. So that's very good, right? So it doesn't keep adding attributes. It just adds it once, and then it just keeps changing the same attribute. So we have our attribute. So I can close this script. And so now what we can do is just be like, okay, we get the player's like last message. We just check like if that message if we can find a player like with that same name, and then if we can find the player, then we just kick them. So what I'll do is just if game dot players find first child. So like if we can find a player with the name, and then we get the player who actually pressed the tool, and then we will get the attribute with the name last chat, right? Or actually no, what we should do instead as well is we need to make sure that player has the attribute of last chat, right? So what we can do is just like, okay, if not player get attribute last chat. So what this is saying is like, okay, if player does not have this attribute, then we can just return an end. And what return does is it basically just halts the function. So this code will not run. When a function sees return, it just stops completely, right? So again, what this is doing is like, okay, so if the player doesn't have an attribute, and again, the player does not have an attribute until we chat, right? So if the player doesn't have an attribute, then we just return. We don't run this function, right? So the player will have to chat and then press the tool again. But then, okay, so now we know we have the attribute. And so then, if game.players, find first child, get attribute last chat. So this is getting the value, which is going to be the very last message. So if we can actually find a player named whatever the player chatted, then we will just do this. So we'll copy this code. We'll just do, okay, game.players find first child, player get attribute last chat, kick. And then we can do kicked by 2 dots. And then we can just, I'll put a space here. And then this is the player who actually pressed the tool. So we'll just do player.name. Phew. Okay. Let me just go over everything. This is right. Okay, this is named last chat, and we're calling last chat. Okay. To make this more readable, we could just do player, and then we can just do this in brackets, like this. So okay, game players, and then usually we would put like a dot, because game.players dot this. But then if it's like not like like one word, if it's like player.set attribute, then we use square brackets, right? So square brackets, and then it just looks for whatever this is, which is going to be like the player's last message, and then we kick them. So let's play the game. Hopefully, let's have it work. So again, this will kick me. Okay, all right, I'll stop. Okay, tool number 1 works successfully. Tool number 2 also works successfully. And then tool number 3, let's see. Okay, I'm clicking right now, nothing's happening. If I type in hello, nothing's happening. If I type in my name, which is the original lamp, nothing will happen because I have to actually make them capitalized. So I have to capitalize all of the words. So I'm clicking right now, nothing's happening. So then if I do the original lamp, and then I click, yes, it's working. Oh man, I feel exactly like that anime guy in Death Note. I don't know. I haven't actually watched or read or seen any of it. I just know some of the memes online. So yeah, that's how you make the funny scripts. Kind of go over read them. Look at this. I'll give you a challenge, and it's gonna be that on all of these tools, right before you kick a player, you make them explode. And the way you do this, by the way, is you just create a new instance, which is called explosion, and then you just set the like position of this instance to like the player's character, and then like the humanoid root part, right? So that's like an extra little challenge. And if you can do this challenge, you can like send some pictures of you doing the challenge, or like the videos, I don't know, on our Discord server, which is kind of a plug, but I not really. I don't know. Up to you. Join, not join, it's fine. It's just hopefully you've made these tools. Hopefully you've learned something. I'm gonna delete these events. I'm gonna delete this. These scripts. Delete these tools, and we are back to basics. Thank you for watching.